rise for the processional invitation.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, as these students enter into their workplace of calling, we ask that you give them strength to help those in need. We ask that you help them dry the tears of the sick and the aging and provide empathy in times of trouble. Lord, let their smiles be the hope being sought by those who suffer. Guide their hands, O Lord, as they do for those who can no longer do for themselves. Let them not take for granted the feelings of those around them and to comfort those in pain or experiencing grief or loss. Allow their eyes to see those things that make them a blessing to those they will serve. Provide the words they need to speak and allow others to know they care by the kindness that they show. Lord, as they leave this program of study and head into the workforce, we ask you to guide them. Guide them and bestow your love upon each and every one of them. We ask this in your blessed name. Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 7th and final Boost Nurse Assistant Dedication Program. I'm Stephanie Robinson. I'm the career coach for the Boost program here at Florence Darlington Technical College, and it is quite an honor to be here this evening. First, on behalf of the Boost staff, we'd like to congratulate our students and our graduates. We are just so proud of you. We're proud of your accomplishments, and we just want you to know we are anxious to hear about your futures and the great endeavors you go to beyond this. Second, we'd like to congratulate the family and the friends who gathered here this evening to celebrate you. It was not without their support and love that you got where you are today. So please know that we thank you for your support and your dedication to these wonderful young ladies. Photos. As you all can see, we are recording this for you all, so you don't have to record it. You will have access to this on YouTube as 3D camera, and we will have 360 camera, and it will be available to you through our Florence Darlington Tech Facebook page. We also have a photographer here who will be taking high definition photos. So what we're going to ask is you're welcome to take photos from your seat, but please try not to use a flash because it kind of messes with everything. But Taylor will be taking a photo of them getting their certificate and one of them being pinned, and those will be made available to the students on our Facebook page, and you can save them right from there. The other thing I'd like to mention, you are welcome, like I said, to take photos or to video. Just make sure you stay behind where the bows are, if you don't mind. After the ceremony, the students will be brought back into the area to do a photograph. So there will be a group photo taken, so if you'll just stay behind those bows until we get that photo taken, then you're welcome to come up and take photos of them as well, okay? Finally, we do want to I have the great pleasure of introducing the folks up here and our guests here this evening. We have such an outstanding group of folks here tonight. First, let me introduce you our program director, Mr. Lee Doherty. Then Ms. Tiffany Dorsey, who is our recruiter for Boost. Our administrative assistant is Taylor Bell, who is taking photographs for us. Unfortunately, Mr. Dave Berry, our SimTech, could not be with us this evening, but our lead nursing instructor is Ms. Annie Ruth Grant. And in the audience, I believe we have two staff members, Mr. Ron Roberts, who's with Project Rush, who has really helped a lot of our students through the Boost program, and we just appreciate everything you and your staff have done. And of course, Mr. Clay Williams, who is with our morning report at the back. This will be on the morning report for Florence Darlington Tech next week, so we do appreciate Clay being with us today. Finally, I'd like to introduce our Associate Vice President of Health Sciences, Ms. Maureen Deaver-Bumba, and she's going to be welcoming you to Florence Darlington Tech. Ms. Bumba?
Thank you, Stephanie. would like to welcome you all on behalf of Florence Darlington Technical College. We are very excited by this group of young ladies who have finished the nursing assistant program, and while we were standing in the hall, I found out that they all have positions, and most of you are going to the cloud. Was that right? Well, I think they've done a really, really wonderful job, and I know that this is the start of a wonderful health career, and I hope to see some of you come back in the future to one of our other health programs. Maybe come back and pick up another certificate or add an associate degree or commit to nursing. Once you get to McLeod, there's a whole sort of things that are at your disposal, so we'd love to see you come back and add to the education that you've already had. So thank you very much for coming. Thank family and friends, and I can only wish you good luck.
All right, now I'd like to invite Ms. Tiffany Dorsey to the podium to present two special awards to our students.
Good evening. The first award is the Outstanding Student Award. The Outstanding Student Award is given to the graduating student from the nursing class who has demonstrated perseverance through adversity. The student has shown tremendous resilience when faced with significant challenges, whether academic, financial, or personal, and has overcome obstacles through determination. This award recipient is selected by the nursing instructor. And the recipient for this year is Miss Jeanette Davis Flynn. The next award is the Academic Excellence Award. Pardon me, it's the Heart and Hands Award. The Heart and Hands Award is given to the student who has a sincere and genuine commitment to caring for others. They demonstrate kindness and respect and a willingness to help among peers, staff, and faculty. They serve as a goodwill ambassador who exemplifies compassion, service, and benevolence. The Heart and Hands recipients are selected by the recruiter and career coach who is not on here, as they are nominated by their peers. And the recipient for the Heart and Hands Award for this class goes to Ms. Brittany Nicole Gilman.
Special awards. Our student could not be here tonight, is our graduate award. And this award goes to an outstanding graduate who has presented positive example, demonstrates leadership in the workplace or academic setting. The recipient is dedicated to lifelong learning and service to others. The recipient is selected by the career coach and the program director. This semester that student was selected, and I will tell you just briefly about her. Her name is Taylor Gregg. Taylor Gregg is currently employed at McLeod Regional Medical Center. Taylor came through our nurse assisting program. She then finished her phlebotomy certificate at Florence Darlington Tech as well, and now she is in the radiology program. She will finish the radiology program next spring. Taylor has maintained those career educational options as well as worked, and she also works at Red Lobster on the side. So if she can do it, you guys can too. So just know you can come back too, and you can do what Taylor has done. So Taylor is actually working this evening, so she could not be with us, but she will receive this award. Now, we did name a class marshal in this program. The class marshals for our programs are students who led by positive example. They demonstrated leadership among their peers in both the classroom and clinical settings. They served as a role model for fellow nursing assistants and represent the College of Health Sciences and the nursing programs in a way that demonstrated exemplary dedication and professionalism. Marshals were selected by the Boost staff. This semester, our team selected Brittany Gilmore. Brittany was an outstanding leader in her classroom. We could always count on her to show up for things and to be there to talk to future students for our program and other programs. And we just thank you, Brittany, and we want to give you a little certificate for helping us. Congratulations. All right. Now, as you can see, your program says that your keynote speaker will be Dr. Ingrid Friend, but because this is our last Boost Nurse Assistant Certification dedication program, Dr. Grant has asked that our director, Lee Doherty, give the closing keynote address. So therefore, I'm not Lee Doherty, as you notice in the program, like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to introduce our director, who is going to give our keynote tonight. For most of you, you know this fellow. But for the benefit of our guests, let me share with you a little bit about Lee Doherty. When he began in January of 2014, he was tasked with managing the construction of the classroom and simulation space for Boost. He was in charge of development and approval of the curriculum, hiring all the employees, and recruiting the first class before August of that same year. He did all those things. Before coming to Florence Darlington Technical College, he was the Associate Vice President of Military Services for J.P. Morgan Chase. He was born in Florence, and he graduated from West Florence High School and Francis Marion University, where he received a Bachelor of Business Administration. Then he continued on to graduate school at the University of South Carolina and the University of Wisconsin, where he graduated magna cum laude. He brings his love of team building and innovation to the grant, which has been recognized nationally by the Department of Labor and the Campus Technology magazine. Mr. Doherty was a featured speaker at the 23rd Annual National Education Technology Conference in Boston, and he has presented at the Learning Solutions Conference on alternate content delivery. His team has enjoyed success by instituting wraparound services and support for a program that has led to a 100% placement rate for program students. The program here at Florence Darlington Tech has been a model for the consortium members to include in the delivery methods and services delivered pioneered by this team. He is an avid champion of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We all have read it. And frequently addresses groups and businesses on organizational theory and culture. He has a passion for all things outdoors, especially waterfowl hunting and offshore fishing. He is a boat captain. He has been married to his wife Melissa for 17 years and has one son named Jack Riley, who is a freshman at West Florence High School. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Lee Doherty as our keynote speaker this evening.
We want to recognize our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Tawari, shows up. That's great, because we weren't sure if he was going to be up here tonight. You can imagine that this time between exams ending and graduation next week, there's a lot that goes on, so a lot of moving parts. So thank you for spending time, and certainly if you'd like to make some statements later on, you're welcome to do that. I would like to say that not only the ladies sitting in front of you all have jobs and all seem to be going to cloud now, which is not a terrible place to end up, by the way, but they also had multiple offers, because where they went to clinical, they so impressed the facility they did their clinical in that the HR director at the clinical said, we'll take any one of the people that came here for clinical. They have a job here, so round of applause. As Stephanie pointed out, in 2014 we started all this, and the grant's coming to an end, but the program's not coming to an end. Nurse Assistant is going to continue on a curriculum basis here from Australian Tech. The grant itself, Boost, is going to end. It ends with this class. This is kind of sad for us, because we had a beginning and we had an end. You know, we always remember your first and remember your last, so we're certainly going to remember you all. We try to remember the ones in between, but You know, when you see the last class walk away, it's kind of a big deal for us. So we're all kind of sad. And like you, we're job seeking this year as well. So as we wind down the grant, we prayed for you to get jobs. You pray for us to get jobs too. So that'll work out great. You've worked hard for 2 semesters. One of the things that we talked about in orientation, if you remember way back 2 semesters ago in orientation, I said that we made you a deal. If you work hard for 2 semesters, that we would make you a world-class nurse assistant, and that we would assist you in getting a world-class job and develop the foundation where you can continue your education and stack on whatever you want to do after that. It won't be your oyster. And the lady sitting in front of me tonight did that. They took us up on that. But the hard work part has never been forgotten, right? It's hard work. It is hard work. It's not just about showing up, although showing up is a big part of it. The hard work part tends to be forgotten when you're doing all the classes and you have tests and quizzes and everything else that goes into it. You know, this class was pretty unique in that they had one of the things that we have over the north is that we don't have to shovel our weather. But about every 8 to 12 years, we do have a hurricane that comes through and messes things up. So their first semester had a hurricane in the middle of it. So that's not very much fun because you lose a lot of class and you have to make it up. And then the spring comes along, and they had winter storms, right? So they had to cancel class several times for winter storms. And that's usually a good thing. If you're in high school, that's a great thing. But if you're in a nursing program, it's not a very good thing because you're required to make up those hours. To have your certification and get your credential, you have to actually do the hours. So the hours have to be made up. So there was a lot of scrambling going on, a lot of clinical, and there was a lot of moving parts. And I appreciate they rolled with all the punches. And there were a lot of punches in there to deal with. Winter storms came right about the time that we had spring break lining up and getting ready to go to clinical. One of the promises that we make to our, in this case, all ladies this time, is that we're going to make them perfect. They have to be perfect before we can go to clinicals because they'll be working on real people. So they have 8 weeks to become perfect. Now, that might sound pretty harsh, perfect. No one's perfect. Well, in healthcare, you probably need to be perfect because, you know, we all joke around and say, don't worry, it's not a matter of life and death. Well, in healthcare, in many cases, it is a matter of life and death. We also tell them they go to these long-term care facilities for the clinicals, that the people they talk with that day, you might be the only person that person gets to talk with all day long. Unfortunately, we don't always get to go and visit our families in long-term care facilities every day or even every week. So part of what they do is not only the healing, but it's also healing through words and your professionalism and your soft skills that you talk to these patients. And that's the constant feedback that we get from those facilities. That's the real differentiator. And we certainly feel that as a huge success for us. The program's been very successful. Every one of our graduates has had at least one job offer before a night like tonight. And y'all are no different. You've had multiple job offers, and that's fantastic. But also remember that those that came before you laid some groundwork for you. Our very first class that graduated 2 years ago, they were an unknown quantity. We promised all of our employee partners that we were going to build a better mousetrap, and we were going to deliver a nurse assistant like they'd never seen before. And then they said, okay, talk's cheap, that's great, bring them on, we'll do what we can with them. And over time, they bought into that. Over time, they recognized that we were delivering a better product. And over time, through the hard work of my staff and a lot of arm twisting, they realized that they should pay more for having that better person that shows up. So both of the major hospitals in the city, Carolinas Hospital and McLeod's, both went back and they restructured their pay for nurse assistants based on this program, based on the people that came before you and wore those same jackets. So you have the benefit of having that road that was paved in front of you. It was kind of dirt and rocky when that first class came out, but now y'all get the benefit of that. When we first started this program, we were told that I don't know why y'all are making people stick around for 2 semesters because it's a minimum wage job. Why would somebody stick around for 2 semesters for a minimum wage job? And we kind of scratched our head and said, well, why would you? And then we said, no, it should be a minimum wage job. So McLeod's, along with the others, went back and they said, what is this position really worth to us? And they restructured that. Some of our top graduates are starting at somewhere in the neighborhood about 40 to 50% above minimum wage, so what was supposed to be what their starting salary was. And that's just where you start. I remind you, where you start It's not where you're going to be in 90 days, and certainly not where you're going to be in 2 or 3 years. It's just a launching point. One of the things that we introduce you with is the simulation and seeing the simulation. And what's great about simulation is you can fail in a very safe environment. Now you're going off into the world. So while we were making you perfect, you failed. Failure is learning. That's great. You know, you learn how to ride a bike. If you're not willing to accept failure and fall off the bike a few times, you're probably never going to learn how to ride a bike. Well, we allowed you to fail in a safe way. And then in the clinical, you performed, as I said before, so well that the clinical site wanted to hire you. That's fantastic. That's all we asked for. Let me tell you about some of our graduates. Let me tell you about these graduates. We've had the pleasure, it's our 7th class we've graduated in the program. We've had some very unique students come through here. One of our students we had, she had worked at the same McDonald's for 8 years. 8 years. She had 2 raises in 8 years, and both of those raises came in the first year and a half. She came here. She was working at McDonald's. They loved her. They loved her. She was great. There's only so much you can pay someone who works at McDonald's. She came here, and now she's on her 2nd job. She does work in the clouds now, and let's just say she's making a lot more than she did at McDonald's. So life-changing stuff, life-changing. She loved the people she worked at McDonald's, but now she changed her life. One of the other fortunate things we had to do, we had a lot of mother-daughter teams come through. Yeah, mother-daughter teams. In our parlance, we call them non-traditional students. God forbid if you're over 25 years old or if you have a child that's non-traditional. Well, this place is full of non-traditional students. But these were probably more non-traditional than others. Our oldest graduate that we had, and it was in the newspaper so we can talk about her age. I never talk about ladies' age unless they let me, but she was 57 years old and her daughter was 17. And they both graduated from this program. And the daughter, she told us when she came in that not only she excited to be in the program, but that she was going to be a doctor one day. And I believe she is going to be a doctor one day. But we had 3 sets of mother daughters that came through. They're just one of them. It's great stories throughout. There's one that we found out about this week I'll tell you about. It's a young man that graduated about 3 classes ago, 2 or 3 classes, maybe 2 classes ago. And he worked in the cloud. And we encourage our students to come back to us, tell us success. I'm sorry, Commander Nurse at home. And come back and tell us success stories and tell us what you're doing so we can make our program better and we can make you better. And he called us and told us that he had taken a travel nurse position. And he was going to New Mexico. Never been to New Mexico in his life, going to New Mexico. And they were going to pay him $16 an hour. They were going to pay all of his expenses. They were going to put him up, pay all his apartment, pay his living expenses, pay his travel, everything. 2-semester program. He goes and gets his first job, works for less than a year in a long-term care facility, and now he told me he can work as many hours as he wants. Now he's making $50,000 a year. That's real commitment, and he earned that. He's going to earn that when he gets there because he's going to do a great job when he gets there. That's the launching pad that you have in front of you. So let me talk about some neat stories we have here. Every one of these ladies has been in the office at some point. It's not like the principal's office. It's different when you get to college. So it's not bad things. But we talk about things. It's great. I get to know some of the students, not as well as the faculty does. I get to learn in different ways. But one of our students has worked in the same place for 24 years, 23 years, almost 24 years. Now, it's hard to believe because these are young ladies that are sitting in front of you. So she started when she was very, very young. And she has 3 children. And by children, I don't mean their children. They're getting up there. They're driving her crazy too. Maintained a full-time job. Working for Purdue at the chicken factory for 24 years. Kept that job. Would work, some cases, 3rd shift. Get off work at Dillon, drive down the interstate, come to class without sleeping. Let's just see it. 24 years. Is that going to change your life, Jeanette? I know it is. So what's next? What do? We need more nurses. McLeod needs more nurses. Caroline's need more nurses. All the long-term care facilities, they need more nurses. But what they really need is good people. And you're good people. You're going to do a great job. Whether it's in nursing, whatever you want to do. Our Outstanding Graduate Award, that young lady, she worked at the floor at McLeod's, and she said, you know what, I don't like this. I don't know. I've chosen the wrong profession. not that, she said, where's the wrong floor? Because she knows there's opportunities for nurse assistants all over the place. And so, you know what she did? She went and worked as a switchboard operator in the cloud for about 4 to 6 months. So she figured out what she wanted to do in the hospital, and now she's on a different floor and loves it. That's what you have to do. Continually learn. Continually challenge yourself. Be proactive. Just like I told you to get behind your classes. Don't get behind your classes. Go talk to your instructor. Go talk to the charge nurse of your floor. If you don't like your floor, find another floor. If you don't like what you're doing, do something else. There's 8,000 employees at the cloud. Believe me, there's everything you can do. You can do it from food service, to work at the switchboard, to work in oncology, to work with children, whatever you want to do. Be proactive. Take charge of your life. You're not a victim. You're in charge of your life. You've done all the things to get here, you've earned it to be here. And I'm very proud of you. I really am very proud of you. So, in closing, let me thank my staff, because Stephanie said a lot of nice things about what I did. The truth is, it was a team that did it. Some of those team members have already gone on to other things, and we've had to replace some team members. But honestly, people just picked up right where the others left off, and this thing fantastic. One of the problems when you have a temporary job like this is that you know that it is a temporary job, and so some people are going to leave before the job's over, and some people are going to leave just when it's over. So you don't have the opportunity necessarily to build a lifetime around it. And I want to thank my staff tremendously, because without their dedication, these ladies, Dave's not here tonight, he had a family emergency he had to get taken care of, but the ladies that are here and Dave, they've all pitched in. They worked way outside of their job description to make this possible, up to and including making the little goodies we're going to have in the back of the room tonight, decorating the stage, buying the flowers, all those things. So I appreciate that very much, because they've been a great part of the success as well. Remember your forever learning. Whether you come back here for your next learning opportunity, or whether you go to Francis Marion, or wherever you go, that's up to you. We have graduates that graduated sitting in those seats that end up going to University of South Carolina. Some went to Greenville Tech. They went all over. So the world's your oyster. Whether you end up in New Mexico, or whether you end up in Lake City, or whether you end up in Dillon someplace. The choice is yours. And you've earned it.
Well, as my students know, I'm a big softie, and they know that I'm going to cry through this. So we are now going to begin the pinning portion of the program. I'm going to ask Dr. Ruth Grant, to help pin, and Mr. Lee Doherty will assist with the certificates. As I call your name, I'm going to ask you to come on stage, first receive your pin, remember to stop for a photo, and then come over and receive your certificate from Mr. Doherty, and stop for a photo there as well. Okay? Tiffany Alexis Bynes. Tiffany Dale Blackman. Jeanette Davis Fling. Brittany Nicole Gilmore. Jennifer Renee McElvain. Ashlyn Mariah Darrell McKeever. Savannah K. Perry. Erica Rakia Singletary Wright. India Renee Thomas. Zaria Rochelle Wingate. The nurse assistants will now stand together and turn to face the audience to recite the nurse assistant's pledge. I sincerely pledge
in the presence of God and this assembly, to diligently, under the supervision of a licensed nurse, provide basic nursing care to patients. I will refrain from performing any nursing services that require a professional nursing license. I will do all within my power to maintain and elevate the standards of nursing aid healthcare practices. I will hold in confidence all patient information committed to my keeping. With commitment, I will endeavor to aid the nurses in their work and devote myself to the welfare of those patients committed to my care.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the spring 2017 nurse assistant class of Florence Darlington Technical College. If you all would like to take a photo, we'll pause for a moment. Anybody wants a photo? After the recessional, the new staff does invite you to join us for refreshments at the back of the room. Students, if you will turn.
Feels like
Take. Staff, you can invite staff on scene.
She don't want to. Look at her. Look how she walking.
Like she's walking her funeral.
Like she's going to hanging or something.
You can stand behind them. Let me get behind them.
Here, just stand in the later.
One, two, three. You take one more. One, two, three. All right.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations.